Welcome YouTube. We're going to be doing a settings video. First of all, we're going to start with the graphics tab for PC. You guys are going to go here and you're going to choose your highest refresh rate. You're going to choose your display resolution. So I'm on 1440p, but I guess it defaulted to 1080p. You're going to select that. And then once you select that, you're going to come back here and you're going to keep all these the same. Gamma and brightness, you can choose your own desires. Make sure your NVIDIA Reflex low latency is on plus boost. For eco preset, this doesn't really matter too much. I have mine on custom. Make sure you have VSync off, that has delay. VSync in the menus you can keep if you'd like. It makes it so that your frames are running at a certain amount when you're in the menus. It doesn't affect gameplay. You're going to want your custom frame rate on unlimited unless you cap your frames. I wouldn't recommend that. They're going to keep this at native. You're going to turn all this off. Focus mode, make sure that's at 0. HDR, you're going to turn that off unless you play with it on. Okay, and then you're going to go to your graphics quality, and then you're going to turn your upscaling to fidelity cast. Make sure that's on 100. It's going to make the game look nice and sharp. Make sure this is on 100. This is going to, again, make sure that the game looks nice and sharp. Otherwise, the game's going to look pixelated. Your VRAM, you can tweak to however your liking is. Depends on what your computer's capable of. I put mine on 85. Variable rate shading is not going to it's not going to make the game look any different. It's going to give you a boost in frames. Texture resolution, if you're playing on a low-end PC or just want the most frames as possible, you want to play this on very low. But if you're playing on a pretty high-end PC, you can keep this on normal. I'm going to put mine on very low because I want the most frames possible. You're going to turn everything else pretty much on low or off if you guys want the most frames. If you guys want better quality, then you can, try tweaking some of these settings and putting them a little bit higher. For on-demand texture streaming, you're going to want to put this on minimal, turn the cache size all the way down, and put the download limit on, so that way it's not downloading in the background. Make sure you put local texture streaming on low, turn pretty much everything else off or low, unless there's a competitive advantage to running maybe shadows a little bit higher like there was in Cold War. I'm going to keep this on very low for now. Put everything on off, low, off. Then you're pretty much set on the graphics tab. You're going to hit apply, confirm, then go to view. Here, you're going to put your FOV on whatever you play on. Make sure you're playing on affected. Weapon field of view, I play on wide. That's going to give you the best FOV possible. Then you're going to go to your motion blur. Make sure both of these are off, and you put the camera movements for both of these on the least amount possible. Here, you can turn your flashbang so that way it flashes black and not white. If you guys get blinded by the white lights of the flashbangs, I would recommend doing that. Then you're going to go to audio and you're going to customize what you play on. They added this new enhanced headphone option, which is actually available to everyone. So I'm going to try this out because I'm genuinely curious what this sounds like. For now, I'm going to keep that on enhanced. On this, I'm going to keep this on headphones for now, but I'm going to test the other ones to see what they sound like. Because I'm genuinely curious what they actually sound like. I've never seen some of these like sucker punch and bass boost and bass cut. So we'll test all these and see what they sound like. All this stuff, I don't really know what it does yet, but so we can just keep those off. We're going to reduce the tipness sound so that way we don't get that sharp rattling from flashbangs and stuff like that. Hit marker presets. I'm going to try default, but I'll probably end up... Actually, I'm going to play classic because that's what sounds like for BO4. Then we're going to go to interface. We're going to keep the skip introduction on. Tutorials, if you guys want to see some tips, I guess, on screen. And then you're going to go to telemetry, put your FPS counter on, latency and packet loss. Those are going to be the most important things that you guys need to have on, so that way you can see if you're lagging or anything like that. Readability, here you can set the filters. Some people like to play on filter 2, and then they put it on both the world and the game, but I'm going to play on none for now and see how the game looks. Keep these to normal, unless you want to change these and tweak with them. You guys can, but I'm going to put these all on the normal default setting. Gameplay HUD. So this is where it gets interesting. Here you can actually customize your HUD. I'm going to end up playing around with this at some point, but for now I am going to put my HUD bounce all the way to the edges, and then I'm going to play on magnified. And so what this is going to do, it's going to make all of your HUD's elements bigger. And what that's going to do is it's going to pretty much make the minimap bigger and way easier to see where people are on the minimap. So I'm going to put my HUD bounds and HUD preset to magnified, and I'm going to put my minimap shape to square because you obviously want a square minimap. Compass type, you can keep that on the minimap, or you can turn the compass off if you're not going to use it. Crosshair, they actually just added this setting, so this is going to be great. I usually play larger on MW3 So I'm going to put it on larger and I'm going to see what it looks like. Crosshair spread is just going to make it so if the crosshair is like dynamically moving, so that way you can see how big your hipfire spread is, or you can keep this off if you just want it to stay still. I'm going to try it off, so I'm going to keep that on. Opacity, so here you can change how transparent your crosshair is. If you want it more transparent, so it's not as like blinding on the screen and like just appearing, you can turn that all the way down. You won't see the crosshair at all. And they also added a crosshair color. So the default's white. That's what's pretty much it's been in every game. But we can actually tweak the colors of the entire crosshair now, which I think is cool. I'm going to try a green color because I think it's going to pop and it's going to make it very easy to center and like snap onto targets because you'll be able to see your colors really bright. So I'm going to try this. Hit marker visuals, you want that on. Damage visual, hit markers on. Weapon information, I have not seen this, so I'm going to see what this is. But I think this is going to show like your scoreboard. You can customize your entire HUD, like the transparency of it, which I think is fucking sick. So let's say the medals are really fucking annoying, right? Some people like them, but in like a competitive setting, maybe you don't want them there. You can make them more transparent so they don't appear on your screen as much, which I think is really cool. You can change your minimap opacity, score, all this stuff. This is really sick. I'm going to play around with it and see what it all looks like at some point. All right, now last but not least, we're going to go to our controller settings. Here you are going to input what you play on. I play on a custom button layout, so I'm going to go ahead and customize it. I aim down sights with L1 and I fire with R1. And then I also mark location and ping with my right click, and then I'm going to melee with up on the D-pad. They did buff meleeing, so maybe meleeing will be more viable, but for now, I'm not even going to bother. And then I'm going to customize my sensitivity. I'm probably going to play on something similar that I did with MW3, and then I'm just going to tweak it as I go, depending on how the game feels. So I'm going to turn my dead zones to 3, and I'm going to change this to like 80. This is going to make it so my left stick is more responsive to my movements. My right stick, I'm going to play on my MW3 settings, but obviously I'm going to test it and, you know, mess around with all this stuff as I play. But that should be it for this. Then we'll go to aiming. Aiming advanced settings. This is where you're going to see your settings for like ADS sense transition. Instant is the default. I don't know why mine was on gradual. You're going to want to play on dynamic. If you play, this is the slope scale. I've been playing on 90 on MW3, but realistically, all it's going to make it do is it's going to be more sensitive. The closer you are to 0, the closer you are to linear. I don't really know how else to explain it, but you can play around with that if you'd like. Custom sensitivity per zoom. Here you can customize the sensitivity for all your scopes if you'd like. I'm going to leave mine on default. And then we're going to go to the aim assist, keep that on. All this stuff doesn't matter because we're not playing with motion sensors. I know some people like to make sure this is on because they think it actually affects their in-game. So you can do that if you'd like, but I don't think it does. And now for the movement settings, this is where you are going to now have your auto tack sprint and your single tap sprints. I like to play on. I don't like to play on full on tactical sprint because I feel like I get way more control of my character by just only having it on and not like fully on there. Sprint assist delay, you're going to want to have off, and you're going to want to have these both on. Mantle assist, you don't really want to touch this at all. Crouch assist, don't touch this at all. Corner slicing is interesting. Some people say they want it off, but I'm going to keep it on because I feel like when you come around a corner and your character does that corner slicing movement, it's almost like you're head glitching sideways, which is really cool. Here, I'm going to play on hybrid, but I know that they added this option now. So if you play tap to slide, you can actually make your delay really short. So that way that delay between sliding and diving is a lot shorter. So you guys can play around with that and see if you like it. But I personally am going to play on hybrid because that's why I've been playing on MW3 and I'm kind of used to it. Automatic airborne mantle, I always put it on partial. Sprint restore, you're going to want to keep that on. It's going to make it so whenever you slide, you don't have to really hit L3 again in order to like keep going. So keep these on, both of these. Parachute automatic behavior, I don't play Warzone. Mantle cancels reload on. Movement advanced settings. So here's more movement advanced settings if you guys want to mess around with this. But if you already have the auto sprint on or the sprint assist, then you don't need to change this at all. Vehicle behavior, you'll keep whatever the hell that is. I don't use vehicles. Here you can change your weapon mounting customizations, your armor plating, and then you can also change your manual fire behavior. I don't know if this is bugged, but it made it so the fire rate of some single fire weapons were slower in MW3. So for now, I'm going to keep it on press, so that way I have to spam my trigger with single shot weapons. But if you put it on hold, if you hold down the shoot button, whenever you're using a single fire gun, it will shoot at the maximum fire rate, supposedly. And then pretty much here, this is the new setting. If you come up behind somebody and melee somebody, it's going to prioritize a finishing move unless you double tap your melee. Then you will be able to do a body shield. So they also added sprint cancels reload, which is a setting that we didn't have for a very long time. So now if you're reloading and you want to cancel it, all you have to hit is sprint. You don't have to hit YY. So that could also fuck over people if they're using like gung ho or something. I'm going to keep this off for now because I'm used to it. And then interact reload behavior. This is where you can prioritize interact or prioritize reload. This is for, you know, the Warzone guys that are always opening doors and stuff like that. You guys can always play around with this as well. So yeah, that should be pretty much it though. That's all. Those are all the settings. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys tune into the stream and subscribe and all that stuff. I'm going to be posting as many YouTube videos and tips and stuff like that as possible. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Enjoy Black Ops 6, guys. Peace.